So up until today, I was really excited to show you guys this game, because this is my most memorable game of the US Go Congress. This is Game 5 of the US Open. I think he's 5-dan. I'm not exactly sure how to say it. Bo Chu something. Anyway, pretty, close to middle-aged guy. I think he's got a couple small kids. So maybe just a little bit older than I am. I guess I'm a middle-aged guy now. Is that what do you have to be to qualify for middle age? This is actually going to be an existential worry for me for the rest of the day. Anyway, playing this game. I just came off 2 wins in a row. I'm feeling good, and my opponent comes in. He looks, he's tall, like presumed Chinese-ish kind of guy. He's tall, looks a little disheveled, looks like he's not quite ready to play, and he takes black and immediately. Well, here, I'll show you the opening, because the opening is... Yeah, here we go. Pretty normal, right? And he wants to play a cross game, so I'm like, okay, great, we can do that. This is... I make the board symmetrical in this case, just because if black gets to play one side first, white, in theory, should get to play the other side, and that's good for white, right? Having a little bit of symmetry. So I'm happy with this. He approaches here, and again, I play this very calm Kusumi. Oh, let's turn the robot on. Let's see what the robot thinks of my Kosumi here. Robot wants me to play a little bit faster. That's reasonable. Of course, it doesn't mind the Kosumi whatsoever either. Cool. And guess what? He tanukis and does the same thing all over again. And I respond the exact same way, keeping the board in this perfect symmetry. So that's already pretty astounding, I think. And of course, this might be one of the longer videos. I'm hoping I can get through it pretty quickly, but we have to go up pretty much through as much. We have to go up through the entire game record that I recorded, and probably a little bit past that. Yeah, again, this is the most memorable game at the Go Congress I think I played this year. So, like I said, so from here, you can see Leela's just looking at things all over the map here. Just isn't quite sure what to do here. And Bo plays this one, which at first glance Leela thinks is actually better than any of the options that she was considering. So I'm like, okay, that's great. I take the initiative on the left-hand side, right? And again, this is my plan, right? If black gets the, to take something on this side, I will get something on this side. Perfect. And we get into this very strange Joseki-ish fight, and I actually showed this to a pro afterward. And in general, he liked my moves. Like he thought I got a really good result, although at the time it didn't feel that way. And you'll see why. And you can immediately sort of feel like, wait, something may have gone wrong here. I'm trying to play this very normal Joseki. Here, I'll show you the sequence first, and then we'll go back and look at what the robot thinks. And instead of taking the corner or pincering, black plays this shoulder hit, which is really strange given how white already has this corner, right? This is the type of move you want to play when you want to build something big at the bottom. But white already has a 5-4 down here. So at this point, like my opponent plays this, and I'm like, I'm winning this game. Like this is a mistake, right? This is not a move. And again, in my last video, I talked a little bit about if your opponent plays something weird, then you have to play something weird too. You can't just play normal in order to counteract it. So I just crawl here. I'm not unhappy with giving black a wall here if that's what black wants, because again, I will just take another big point at the bottom and just immediately neutralize it. At least that's my plan. But black plays this Hane, which, man, does that feel like an overplay, doesn't it? Let's turn the robot on. The robot says it's playable, 5% loss, like not game over. Of course, the robot's like, okay, you made that exchange. Take the bottom, you idiot. Look, this is the developable area for both of you. This is not important over here. If you do want to continue, you have to build a wall, basically. So yeah, this move, I'm going, wow, this is just crazy. And so I cut immediately, which my robot here says I should peep first, which I think would be good. I get that peep in momentarily, so just hang on for a minute. Here, we'll go back to the variation. So I cut, and he extends. And again, I think I should probably peep here. I think this is good timing for the peep. The robot says, yep, good timing for peep. And I play this extension. Actually, I want to turn off the show next move. And, you know, this stone can move out, right? But white will just calmly live in the corner, and it'll sort of be a fight for the outside, and black's corner shape kind of sucks. Like, black really needs another move at the bottom, which should give white to do something up here. But my opponent doesn't respect any of that and just immediately builds the left. Like, wow. Like, you know, we're going to play 3 stones on this side and then 3 stones on this side and just expect a good result. And of course, I take this peep now, which is what the robot says. Yes, you should do this. And this feels great for white, right? Like, you know, this left-hand side formation is still kind of thin. I'm very solid, so I shouldn't have any problem like invading or reducing it later. I can even just attach here immediately and just Hane whatever side he doesn't want to get a fair result. Corner's still open. These stones are not at all settled. This is very thin on the right. You know, it feels like if black wants to turn these into points, that's very difficult. I can even just attach here at the 4-3 and just say at some point, you know what, you can have those points. I'm just going to build the top left and just get an equal number of points there. You know, it's not like this is a game over kind of situation for black, but at this point I was thinking, you know, I really don't feel bad. Like, there's nothing for me to feel bad about. I still have the 7.5 Komi points. So my opponent plays this move down here, which I think is a nice way to defend. It feels a little bit passive, but it's a big point. And the robot says I should come here, which I don't quite do. I play the high one. And the reason for me playing the high one is... I had a reason. Robot says it's okay. Robot's just not really investigating it, though. Yeah, I just felt like it worked with this peep a little bit better. Because if black doesn't come out, if black tries to come back and fix now, this just sort of unites everything into, you know, this white central position. And, you know, I know you guys didn't see the end of the last game, but again, the last game I ended up playing a whole bunch of moves in the center and building a pretty big center territory at the top after killing a black group. In this game we're going back to Takamiya. Like, we're gonna build a huge center, believe it or not, in this game. So anyway, that's just what this move sort of looks to do, is just sort of seal this black group in. If I play low, let's see what the robot says. Oh, robot says dig in and just make a base. I would fully expect black to come out on top and try to activate this stone somehow. And wow, that's quite a variation. Free stuff and come back and take. And then come back up here, yeah, and do something like this. Something like this. This is kind of more the thing where I expect where black gets out. Although white gets actually a really nice position on both sides, so this would be a great result for white. Very solid both cases. All right, but anyway, what we actually play, because I play high, and this goads him into pushing up here, of course. He really doesn't want to get sealed in. And robot says just pull back is good enough. Robot just really wants to settle on both sides, which is probably the right intuition. But I'm willing to ask for a little bit more. I'm saying, no, hey, I kind of want to, I would like the center, please. That's why I played this move, and I have this move and this move, and, you know, if I control the center, all of your thin little quasi-territories here are completely invadable, right? Like I can just go and thrash whatever territory I need to go thrash later. And he, instead of taking this Hane, which is a little dangerous, I admit, and actually I was prepared to cut here, which the robot says is only a fair move. The robot says better to connect, which is pretty wild. Again, yeah, robot just really wants to settle on both sides. All right, sure. Anyway, I Hane here, and in order to get rid of this Aji, black, you know, just connects here, but of course that lets me play this move. And the robot agrees that's a really nice move, and now white sort of is in command of the center. And this black group down here still isn't quite settled. White has reducing moves. But black can immediately settle and gain quite a few points if he takes Gote by playing this move. I think this is a nice move, right? It threatens to activate this stone if white plays somewhere else, right? Or even, here, not even somewhere else, if white just plays here, black can play here, right? And white can't cut shortage of liberties. And after the game, Bo and I looked at this, and I thought this was actually better for white, for me to actually just do it this way. Whoops, this is the robot variation, of course, where robot cuts through. That's not quite the variation we looked at. We were looking at a pretty extreme fighting variation, where if black connects here, I don't think we had this as the next move. Yeah, something, I don't quite remember. Anyway, we were looking at these very fighting situations where black sort of gets trapped on the inside and white has to fend for eyes, and there are cuts out here that we have to worry about. Both of us kind of wanted to avoid that, so you know, when black plays here, I just calmly connect and then let black take the stone, and that's a big territory for black. But white still has a pretty strong group here. That's also threatening to build quite a few points at the bottom. Black took Gote, so white has complete Sente now to do whatever, and you know, I felt like this was fair. Like, the robot says white's winning, but during the game I felt like this was just a very fair result. That I was not unhappy. Let's say I wasn't unhappy. I was not unhappy with the result as white. So I play here, which robot doesn't really like. After the game was over, he said he was actually really surprised by this move, and it kind of rattled him a little bit, just because it really pointed out like he's already aware of like the thinness over here, right, with these types of variations where white can just come in here and live whenever, you know. So there's no real points over here yet. Black needs one remove. So in his mind, he has this is territory, and he needs to get something over here. But after white plays this move, it's you know, there's white thickness over here, right? If white gets to get some free moves, this bottom turns into a large territory, and if black just sort of digs in and doesn't let white get free moves, well, then black's really not going to get much on the right. He plays this move, which I think is fair. I think, yeah, the robot says they're basically even. Actually, even robot is estimating this one's better, even though it just hasn't caught up the number of variations yet. Let's see if it changes its mind. It looks even better. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah. Oh no, flip back. Robot, make up your mind. Stupid robot. Okay, plays one of these moves. I think the direction is correct. Either one. They're just slightly different. And I just play really calm here. Robot says this is good. This gets complicated. Oh man, robot variations are so. So what did white get here? That seems pretty happy for black. I guess black sort of gets to solidify the bottom right hand into territory. Yeah, and actually this is very small. But both the white stones feel kind of bleh. Very, very not human sequence. Okay. I just jump out, which I think is a very human move. Saying, look, you're thin over here. I can just jump out and be safe. I sort of own the middle. And my opponent does, even though he played really aggressively over here with a shoulder hit, I was really surprised at what he does now, because he just digs in and tries to become safe as soon as possible. Like, again, he's looking at this group over here, and I think he just wants to, you know, make a safe group, so then he can take either the next big point or invade the bottom and not get really punished for it. So he plays this move, right, which threatens to link up. Makes a nice base. It's a nice spacing from this one stone. Robot says I should keep the pressure on the top right now, since black dug in over here. I do not. I take the time now to actually round in the bottom. Robot thinks it's more or less fine. He stands. Instead of playing this is fine and probably the better, bigger direction. This is the more common Joseki, and again, I'm still thinking like I kind of want to keep him a little bit unsettled here. And this is the move to do it, where you can jump in. Of course, black still has this connection, but you know, maybe white can get another free move in here at some point, and these 4 black stones will again not have a real base, but I don't know, they're pretty strong. It's 2 iron pillars 3 spaces apart is pretty hard to actually kill outright. White would need a lot of help, especially when there's friends for black nearby. But anyway, black sees this as a threat and jumps. And again, this dual purpose, right? Helping this group not become weak and putting pressure on the 2 white stones. So I just jump again. Again, not really a whole lot of other choices here. Well, actually, the robot thinks I can do lots of things. Well, I felt like there are no other choices. I felt like this is a nice move. Just because it gets me out again into the center. I'm emphasizing the center, which I naturally like anyway, and have sort of swapped my strategy to. And then robot says biggest moves at the top. Yeah, because this after white gets strong here, white definitely wants to do something at the top right. And he takes this point, which is not even on the top 10 move list for the robot. But it's a very human move. But again, it's very thin when your opponent has 3 stones nearby like this. So of course I immediately play here. And we play this very standard looking Joseki. Oh, interesting. The robot doesn't want to play standard Joseki. Robot wants to cut through here and maybe counterattack this. Oops, let's play the robot variation and see what happens. Oh, just extend. Cut. Oh, wow. This way. So white will get one side, black will get the other kind of thing. Seems reasonable. Yeah, but then here, now black will counterattack. How bad of a counterattack is it? It says white's fine. Let's play there. Wow. I have to make the stick live. These robot variations, these robots are crazy. Now black kind of actually owns the center, what is left of the center. So black will be able to invade really easily down here, but black really has very few points. Black really needs to turn the left into territory now. But white also has to live here, so there's that problem. Okay, interesting idea. We do something much more normal and expected, where black just comes down here. Yeah, this I think would have been a really nice timing. Yeah, that's a move that wasn't on my radar. I kind of thought about this one, but yeah, the problem is exactly. Even though white can kind of cut through here, it doesn't. Yeah, does black need to play here? I'm not convinced black need. Oh, I see it now. You can connect these 2 stones on either side. Yeah, it just feels bad for white because we're not really killing anything. We're not really getting a base. So I didn't play this clamping game, which was my normal shape reaction. But I also didn't see this one. This one's much better, right? Because now when black comes here, looks like they want white to play a little bit first. I'm not sure why we're giving up extra stones. I just want white to play here, right? Like, this is probably giving up too much. This is too robot-y. Anyway, I would expect black to play here, and white would probably immediately play here. Under the guise of more or less killing the stone and exchanging, these 2 for this one. Which I think is actually an okay exchange. Like white's, even though it's a kind of a local loss, still says the board is good for white. Black still needs to invade this or reduce this somehow. So if I can cut off one stone and make everything in the center really safe and strong, I think I have an easy game. Okay. Anyway, black plays the human move, and I play the human move. Which again, this turn is a local loss, but I kind of need the shape. And this is interesting. Look at going back and forth between which spacing to put it. And I think in the game I played here too quickly. I'm starting to come around to thinking that this was the better move. Yeah, this would have been fine. Oh yeah, yep. This type of variation. Oh, it's tough variation though. Ooh, yeah, very tough fighting variation. Actually, you're going to see I kind of read out variations very similar to this in what happens next. Because my opponent asks for a lot. Oops, even though oh no, sorry, I don't play this. I play I play this one, which robot thinks is even better. No, it doesn't. Robot thinks is comparable to this. I think this is a move that I just need to think about more, right? Like the armpit hits to make bases. In general, we don't like making armpit hits to make bases because it strengthens our opponent. But we can do something like this and not feel too bad. Right? Like white actually has a pretty nice base. Says that's actually a fairly good variation for black though, because we do give black a lot of strength, right? So anyway, I play this one, and this was a big turning point in the game, because, well, maybe not this next move, but the next 4 or 5 move sequence here, because black decides, you know, he's going to make me over concentrated, right? And he wants to do it with this move, and he really wants white to play here so he can pull back, and you know, if white attacks, he can counterattack, right? This white group doesn't really have enough room to make eyes comfortably. So, wow, look at these counter peeps. Crazy. Okay, so that's the idea. Black will collapse this white shape into a really tiny ball, and, you know, we'll be fine. We'll just happily take free stuff on the outside while pressuring it. I find that acceptable, so I cut and play here. And the robot wants me to play here, which I don't do. I see. I thought about this, but again, it seems like black gets a lot of free stuff. This is a pretty strong group now on the outside, and black gets the first move against this corner. So something like this would result. Black would get Sente. I guess I'm strong though, or at least I'm strong enough everywhere. This would be fair. This would be fair. I didn't want fair. I wanted to fight a little bit more. I wanted to do things. So black, of course, extends. Here, again, robot thinks I should play here. Wow. This counterattack, peep, come out, give up, and make some sort of exchange to attack these two. Big exchange. Doesn't feel great for white. Robot percentage reflects that. So I play this move here to just connect along the bottom. And at this point, again, this was a variation that I was reading out. It was very similar to the other variation if black just sort of comes out here and fights. It seems... Oops. Can black play this way? I didn't feel bad. I felt like these 3 stones would be under attack, and if I ever needed to, I could just come back and live here. But maybe that's actually not true, because black can attack this stick and this group simultaneously. But if I get the entire top, that's bigger than this stick, so... but it says it thinks black is doing really well. Thinks black is doing really well. Thinks this 3 stones have a lot of Aji here. Yeah. See, this seems fair to me. Like, it really likes black. It really likes eating the stick. Okay. All right. Again, not what happened in the game. Because my opponent doesn't play here. My opponent plays here. And look at the swing. And his thinking, right, is he wants to upset the corner base, or the potential for white to make a base in the corner, and that way, when this group is coming out, it can basically attack this. That's his reasoning. The reasoning is pretty bad because, of course, instead of doing anything here, white just plays this move, basically completely settling now this top group, and slowly reaching out to the 2 stones. These 2 stones, even though black can kind of attack them, they already have a friend. And they already have some sequences, in the corner, right? Like, they can do this sort of thing to get 1 eye. If black doesn't respond again, there's a 2nd eye right there. Like, if black takes this, looks like I can even play here. I can even poke there again. I'm just looking at all these pokes. It doesn't, yeah, white doesn't, the computer doesn't even want white to come back and have to play this move. It's like, you're fine. So what happens here? My opponent misses this move. He takes this opportunity, and then he plays here. Like this is his real plan, right? Trying to attack these 2 stones. And again, you can see that it's too ambitious. Like, this is not what he needs to be doing right now. And I play this move, which I thought was a really nice move. Robot has only researched it 10 times. Robot thinks this Hane is better. But again, the idea is, hey, if I can just get these stones out, this stone can connect to these two, and then I'll just kill a bigger group. Robot disagrees. Let's take a look at how scary this is. If I just... This Hane is really powerful, right? Because now these four black stones are feeling bleh, real icky. Really icky. Black jumps, I jump, Hane, peep. Ooh, wants me to poke through. Atari. Yeah, how do we deal with this? Oh, this is black magic. We're just gonna give them up. That is the robot way. Just give up. All right, so that's what it thinks how this should go. Give black a giant corner in order to capture 5-ish stones over here, and I guess this is pretty severe attack against these 4. That is the robot way. I was not a robot, man. These robots. So anyway, that's why I didn't like this variation, right? Like, if I play here, boom, these 2 stones now kind of have a little problem. So I came up with this move. Wait, does it like... Oh no, it doesn't like my move better. It's... Hey, play this move. It doesn't like my move. It likes it it likes it well enough. Likes it well enough. Black still has issues. Like, again, if I just go forward, like, look at these black stones. Like, black has to really poke and prod and struggle to make shape here. And if I can keep black just struggling and making shape, again, I'm looking at this board and going, black's territory is limited. Although, granted, this move was actually really big in terms of points, because it helps prevent the invasion reduction severity over here for white. So it really does turn this into a pretty nice chunk of territory, almost. This corner is not small. This is still not that significant because it's, open on the side and can be pressed in this side. This is also a big corner. So basically, black has 2, we'll say, large-ish corners, and maybe up to about 20 points on this side. Maybe another 5 points here. So, like this is the type of game I like to play, right? And I talked about this a lot in my last video, where I'm the type of player where if I can count my opponent's points in a very finite way, I feel really good. It's more, even if I don't have enough points, if my opponent's points are finite, if he can't get any more points anywhere else, I'll find a way to make some points. Like, that's the type of default game I want to play. And I sort of get the feeling my opponent was the opposite, where like he felt like as long as his opponent's points were undefined, he could figure out a way to destroy them. And so that's how this game is going to go, because we're going to make a huge moyo. Can anyone see it? Anyone see the giant white moyo that's going to form? It's going to take a little while, but this whole next sequence is basically related to it. All right, turn the robot back on. Robot wants me to make this exchange first. I do make this exchange soon, because it does help the cuts from the shape. So black pulls back, and I just connect here. Again, still wants me to make this exchange first. I really want to hold off on this exchange as late as possible, because again, once I do, this turns more into direct territory. And if for some reason black lets this white group become strong, I'm going to play much more severe things later on, right? Attachments here or here, maybe even this armpit hit here, to really do something nasty to this 20-point-ish group. So I really don't want to make this exchange. This exchange, well, like when I do make it in the game, when I make it, it feels really bad, because all that potential destroy kind of just evaporates. So I'm going to ask on the outside first. Black takes a free move. This is interesting. It says I should just play here. But I decide after black gets out a little bit faster, I have to be wary again, so I make this exchange right now. And after the game, during our game review with my opponent, I regretted this. He's like, "Oh yeah, but you need it. Like I'm really sad that you have this exchange, right? Because now all of a sudden this attacking this group becomes much more difficult." And I poke on this side, and this looks like the obvious shape point. The robot disagrees, but man, look, right? If I play here, look, the obvious mouth shape. But the problem, yes, you may see it, is that white has to peep here, right? And so black gets essentially 2 moves on the outside. But still no ice shape. So black is still running, so this is like fine for white. If black just runs, that's probably the most appropriate move, but again, there's no eye space, and white can still destroy it this way, and that's worth points too. So this move ended up being a little bit wrong direction. You know, in the game I was really happy to just sort of ruin the shape while strengthening this group, but it doesn't really strengthen the group enough. Black takes this free stuff, of course. Oh, and this is an interesting choice. White can take, which is much better Aji for the points and the bottom of the group here, the end game, but it's a little bit weaker in terms of threatening to disconnect. You guys can kind of see later on. Whoops. Here, let's just give black a move there. When white plays here, having this liberty taken away, right? Imagine this white stone right here, is useful to get more free stuff against these 3 stones, right? These 3 stones don't actually have a lot of liberties, especially given the other defects in these cuts here. So giving white this liberty, or giving black this liberty, lets black play a little bit more strongly in this neighborhood. So I don't want that, so I play here. The robot says, no, you should just take the stones. This liberty during this sort of connection isn't worth it. But I'm in my mind, I'm still attacking this, severely, right? I played this move, and I played this move. I want to punish the insolence, right, of this group coming in and overplaying and tanukiing at this moment, if you remember this stone. So I'm trying to play as strong as possible moves against it. But again, there's Aji later on now. You'll see happening. So black comes out. I poke once, and then I play this move, which when I showed it to the pro really liked it. The robot hates it though. Only 2 variations. He's like, oh yeah, that's good, Tetsuji. Now the robot hates it because the robot says robot can play there. And I'm not really convinced that's true. It's true enough. Yeah, I guess that's reasonable. Anyway, the pro really liked it because, again, if black responds here, this is a nice shape, right, to disconnect. This stone is actually very useful from preventing black from just poking through and cutting. So this is the game. My opponent does respond there, and I do play there. But, all that aside, between this leaving some Aji down here and pushing from the wrong direction, you can kind of see this game has swung more or less back to a 50-50. Where whatever initiative I sort of gained, I've lost, mainly because this white group is still not settled. This move did not help it. The black group has gotten stronger. And, after this shape, this black group is pretty resilient. Like, it's very difficult for white to kill it properly. But I still think I can do it. So boom, so I play here. And again, the robot's shrugging, going, no, you can't do this. You can't actually attack this group. Robot says, yeah, just go over here and build something here. Just don't pressure it too much. But I'm like, bam, let's get it. I smell blood. I'm thirsty. Of course, black plays here. Yeah. Again, the robot's more or less concluded, yeah, you're done playing stuff over here. You should just go do something else. And I play here. I'm like, okay, here, let's lean on this thing, maybe get some free stuff, and then come back and continue the attack. Robots, no, it's like, this is a terrible idea. What are you doing? Stop it. Just stop it. Interesting. The robot, they're both good. They're both okay. The robot wants to play there, though, which... I'm not man, that feels really dangerous. Yeah, because after white plays anything over here, now black really feels compelled to come back. And that feels bad, right? Like, it feels like this one white move caused black to play 2 moves. So white got something for free. But even then, it says black's still winning and going to manage this group just fine. And this is a common theme, I think, especially in the games, the early Go Congress games that I lost in this tournament. Where I tend to over-attack something. I tend to smell blood when it's really not there. And I need to tanuki a little bit sooner instead of continuing the pressure. And he plays this way, and of course I pull back, and this move here is wrong. Like, and after the game, this is one of the moves that he regretted the most, right? Because he's like, okay, I kind of got an eye here in Gote whenever I need it. If I just can find a Sente eye, then I'm totally fine. I can do whatever I want. And so he thinks he can do it this way. The problem is that, of course, white has this cut here. Yep. And it's more or less Sente, right? Like, if we're going to give all these points back to white, this group has no problems. These 3 stones are connected enough to either getting out or connecting back here. And so black's territories become really just these 2 corners. So black needs to respond, and I just respond. Black kind of needs to respond again, although I'm not sure this is the right way to do it. His thinking is he's just going to give this stone a couple more liberties, which will make it kind of annoying for me to have to connect these 2 stones later. I think that's fair. What does the robot say? The robot says play this first. Huh. Just give up these 2. Yeah, robots love to give up stuff. I need to learn to give up stuff like robots. Yeah, robots like these 2. Black, look at these 2 black stones. Black has already played here and here. Therefore, you're not getting, no, white's not getting any points here anyway. So just these 2 stones are not that much. So 2 bigger moves on the outside are worth giving them up. And I think that's not a terrible idea. Anyway, I defend the shape, and black, of course, comes back and saves these 2 stones and turns this back into black territory. But notice these 2 black stones right now have no friends, and white got to play this move and take Sente. So that's pretty cool, right? And we're back to kind of like a 50-50 game, maybe slight advantage for white. And so here, I think is when I play, I think this is my favorite move I play the entire game. No, it's not. Never mind. I play this stuff first. I make these exchanges. These are good exchanges. Yeah, and actually, this move, I want you, everyone watching right now, to keep their eye on this move, this 150% move. We're going to see this stupid robot keep telling me to come back and play this move, because it's kind of double Sente. And I'm keeping it because it's a really severe co-threat, right? Like, it's a more severe move for white to play than for black, so black doesn't feel like he has time to play it yet. But it's severe for both, and this is like just a really needed nice move. Instead, actually, I deal with it. I almost deal it correctly, right? I play this first. And yep, black accepts. And again, so see, I still have this move. This exchange was a really nice exchange for white, by the way, right? Because it prevents black from making any points down here. And if black were to cut through, whoops. If black were to cut through, no, crap. White plays here, black plays here. You know, feels like white still needs to play here. It's giving this game really severely. Wow, 80. How? Really? This is a 50-50 game here, right? Wow, look at this. Yeah, if you look at all the other candidates, it's saying so severely that white has to fix here immediately. That is so prescient over the robot, given what happens. Okay, well, I didn't think I needed to, because, like I said, let's say white takes Sente now. If black were to push here, even though it's Sente for black to push there, it takes away another liberty of these 2 stones. These 2 stones have even less Aji now, right? So it's like black gains a little bit, but hurts the Aji of this. So black doesn't want to do this now either, right? That is insane. All right, in order to understand the insanity, you guys have to keep watching, I think. Like how big a difference this ends up being. Okay, stay tuned. Here we go. So I make this exchange, and then I play what I believe is my favorite move of the whole game, this shoulder hit. And the robot says, actually, I should play here. If I'm not going to play this, I should play here. And that's a 60% game for white. I actually think there's a huge difference. I don't know, this feels really good to me. Like that, isn't that just like a nice human move? Like black has to play here, right? Like there's no choice. But when black can play here, white has a pretty nice sequence to just make this into 20 points, right? Just boom, right there. And black, yeah, takes this peep. Right, it's interesting right now that black, the move here is to threaten to cut off these stones, or the robot's favorite move. But black takes this peep. But I have my own fun move. Again, I showed this to the game. The pro really liked this move. He's like, "Oh, that's neat." I'll show you what it looks like without all the colors. Where everything is very undefined over here. But white is really offering up a few of these stones in exchange to just seal black in and build the bottom in a really big way. And here, before I'll go back and show you some of the robot. Well, here, I'll just show you how this plays out. Black, threatens to run these stones out or get some Aji here. And in the game, he feels like he has to come back and connect, which isn't on the robot's radar at all. It's not active enough. He's scared of something like this happening, but this isn't really a big deal. Maybe something like this, where white can still cut through here and cut this group off and annoy it later. But look at this center group here, or the center moyo. It's really white, but black got actually plenty of exchange of compensation for it, so I think it's fair. She even says it's way better for black. So for whatever reason, he was very worried about this, and so he connected. And you can see this is a huge mistake, like 40% swing mistake for white. And the reason why it's such a large mistake is that the robot here is calculating this to be a really close game. Like I don't know how or why it's doing it, but it's a really close game. So if you play a slack move like that, it's the potential here is for the game to get out of control. And so I take the Hani on the outside, which it doesn't prefer, which is actually pretty interesting. But again, I'm thinking Takamiya style. I'm just going to make this into a giant moyo. Like sure, these couple stones be damned. How does this go? I guess I can still kind of make a pretty good size moyo here, but it's not the size. It's not the moyo I want. I want the bigger one. So I play here, and part of this is actually a little bit of a misread. I thought I had a squeeze to cut through here that worked a little better. It turns out I don't. This is not the game. The game I play here. Yes. Yeah. And I just connect. Because I'm like, bam, look at this. This is like 60 points. And difficult, yeah, black plays a nice move here. I still have a squeezing type of sequence over here, right? Oops, if black, let's say black takes this cut. Yeah, this one. There we go. If black comes through here, oh, it wants me to connect. Oh, and then kill these. Wow. Oh, it doesn't even want me to squeeze. Game is just like, here, just build it bigger, or come back here and build this. Yeah, and actually that's right, because black can't really play here. These three black stones are gonna be just too weak, right? So boom, giant. That's even like 70 points, even bigger. So yeah, here was the squeeze I saw in the game, though, right? I didn't actually think black would play there. I just empty triangle off my radar. Whatever black did, I thought like black would have to play this type of thing. Because if black plays somewhere else, I just have this nice squeeze to kind of either connect over here or connect over here. Something. I don't know. It's not that good of a squeeze. It kind of destroys my moyo too. Okay. So I connect, which says that's a pretty big loss for white, but that's okay. Again, I'm sort of just looking at black pushing through here and saying, well, now you can't. Right now, this is just mine. Black plays here, and I perfect the moyo, but this is the wrong direction. It wants me to play there. Wow, what a move! That's so defensive. I wonder if that's playing here just because it's safer, and not like this is the more human move here, or even this is probably more human, right? All right, neat. All right, so anyway, I just play here, which looks giant to me, but it's really not. Like this is a pretty big mistake. Again, it's more the part that I don't think about enough is that, oops, if black were to play here, white kind of immediately has this counter, and black has to work really hard to not die. Yeah, like really hard. I want you to notice that basically no one is playing moves over here. For the most part, this stick can't easily be saved. This stone is actually good enough, and we looked at this for a while after the game, because you'll see coming up, he's going to play an additional move here to make sure this dies. He doesn't really need to. Like, white can definitely reduce a lot, but it's too small of a move. So after white plays here, black pushes and then takes this move. And even at this point, after this push, the game is still really favorable for white. Like this bottom is just huge, and white even has a few points over here, maybe a few points in here, maybe. Black's points, you know, again, black needs to ensure that these are dead. Black has points, but can't match the size. So here, I play here, and it looks like black is just going to reduce as much of this as he can. Oh, this is a really interesting move. It wants me to play there. Isn't that wild? That's wild. I didn't have this move on my radar. I wish I did. What a killer move. Right, because I don't really want to play here because of this clamp, right? This doesn't feel right. I don't really want to extend here because black just keeps jumping. So in game, I play here, which it says is actually the worst one. But, oh, actually now it's just going back to liking this one better. I think that's a cool move, though. The shape looks so thin, but white has so many stones, you can sort of deal with whatever black throws at you, which is amazing. Amazing. Oh, actually, yeah, if I play here, though, isn't there still a clamp? Yeah, there's still a clamp. So it still gets clamped. So it's really not that big of a difference. I basically just have to give it up, whatever it is. But anyway, after I play this one, black plays another bad move. You know, it's like, okay, these are all white's points. Let me compete on territory. And again, black likes cash. So he comes back to finish this off. And this is too small. Like, this is too small. Because now when white plays here, this is now basically perfect territory. Like, it's not even a moyo anymore. It's just 60 points of territory. And again, this whole thing came about, right, because I played the shoulder hit and then gave up these stones. Which, again, we could argue later whether or not it was a good exchange, but given the fact, or the win percentage where it was, I felt great. Felt great during the game. He takes these little pokes, I fix here, and, you know, it looks like we're already in endgame. And yes, white, notice, look at this black move right here, right? It says black should just poke right now. It's like double sente. So, you know, again, I'm still thinking that maybe I can save it for something cooler later. Actually, it's now switching to poking over here first, but it's still on the radar, right? This is still like the move that someone needs to play. Black takes that. It's a pretty huge move, but it's still, you know, white. It doesn't change the board state, I guess, or the winning state. I press in here. Black just connects. It says I should come up here and take this stuff, but again, I take the human endgame stuff. After black played here, right, like making this exchange is just fine because black still needs another move to fix. It looks a little over-concentrated. And notice, yeah, white just really wants to take this move, and I totally don't. I take all this stuff. This is just a reduction. Black got to reduce me, now I get to reduce him, right, because he played the elephant eye jump. And again, still, play this move. It's like, still, you just need to play this move. Atari, yeah, that's a way to do it. See, I thought this worked a little bit better for me than it did. I still get something, actually. This is still just fine. Actually, the robot says that's a great reduction sequence because now there's basically no points here. Black does get to kill all these off, but, you know, this territory does not equal this territory. And, again, robot is still like, hey, just play here. Just play here. And I play up here, which is not a bad move, but it's not in the top 3. Maybe even top 5. Again, it looks big though. It feels big. My opponent was actually kind of sad I got this after the game. He's like, "Oh, that was such a big point." You know, because there's 5 points of territory up here for either of us. It's like a 10-point swing. He plays here. This is just a sacrifice to take Sente or something like Sente. Again, I should play here. I should just play here. He plays this endgame. This is just sort of a nice little forcing sequence where everyone prevents each other from having points. Here, I'm going to take off the numbers for it. You can just kind of see all these little crawling, poking, nothing. They're nothing moves. But basically, they just help ensure white is ahead. Now, that being said, white is ahead on this board, but not by very much. I'm counting the game a lot, and each time I count, I notice that the count gets like 1 point closer or so. But I'm still like, okay, I've got like a 3 or 4 point lead. I'm doing great. We're coasting to victory here. So I just take all these Sente moves, and again the move. As soon as I turn the robotic back on, the robot's gonna be like, "You idiot! Play here, 98%, play here." And I know I can play there, but I'm still thinking I can play there whenever I want. I have Sente. And I take more Sente, and I play this move, which is still Sente. The robot's still like, okay, 97%, dude. You got to play a 97% move, right? No, I don't. I really don't. I play here. Because I think this is the biggest move on the board. It actually thinks this is bigger, which I don't disagree with in retrospect. This would have been a better move. Oh, this is a much better move. Oh yeah, because this is more Sente endgame later. All right, this is just reverse Sente. This is a lot more Sente endgame, right? Because if black doesn't respond after this white push, right? This is a weak shape in here. It's not quite. It's black. White gets a few more points here, and black needs to take 2 more moves here, right, to kill this white stone. Like it's these black points go to nothing, and white gets a few extra here. All right, but either way, what should be happening is I should be playing that move. And each time I don't play this move, look at my little win percentage go a little bit further down. It's kind of hovering now. Takes that, takes that. You can start to see, white shouldn't have played there, right? Again, white really wants white to play here. And then poke, more pokes. Can't poke, and I think this is the point. I think this is the point when black takes it, yes. And it doesn't swing the game. Why didn't you notice that? Look at the game. Game still in white's favor, according to the robot. And I block, and I'm like, okay, this is getting to be really close, but I'm still comfortable. But then black plays this move. And this is a pretty big gain for black, actually, getting to play here first. I get to play here. Again, this is all just very pokey. Here, I'm going to turn off win percentages. You just sort of jump around the board. Just very poking endgame stuff. I play here, which is pretty good. Here's another poke. This is also a good poke. Notice that if white ever gets to play here, you can throw in to take a few more points away from black, and it's also worth an additional, well, not really worth the point for white, but it's preventing like 2 or 3 points here for black. Black takes this one, which is good. That one, which is 2 points. And then, let's look at the robot. The robot says biggest point is here, yes. And I knew this was a big point. I just thought, a move like this would be bigger, right? Because it threatens us to take a point in Sente. Our opponent responds even, so it's still good. Asane has 2 points. Finally takes that. I connect. Now this move is just Sente for a point. This is just a point in Sente. Black plays here, which is, I'm looking at it going Sente, but no, this is a Sente move for a point. Actually, robot wants me to throw in first, which is pretty crazy. Here, let's just assume that black takes. You can see that black... Oh, is it even a Sente point? Is this just... Oh, black has to connect this side, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be killer. Why didn't I do that? Yeah, because black played here, and I just assumed I had to respond. I was like, look, I'm I'm like 2 points ahead. I just got to respond. Everything is accounted for. We got this. We got this. That's a nice move, though. Crap. I wish I saw that one. Yeah, I don't remember what my clock time is, but it's not a lot of time. And I'm spending a lot of my time counting too. So, which I should be actually spending more of it just reading. I defend here, which is probably overkill. I do need to defend. It's just I don't need to defend that way. Black takes that point, so that's a huge move, relatively. I play there to start this ko, and I'm looking at this board, I'm going, okay, there's 2 kos, I'll get one, he'll get the other, and I win the game. That's what I thought would happen. But he immediately fills the ko, and I'm like, oh, right, yeah, he can just fill the ko. So I'll take this ko. So now we're fighting this ko. And the game is really close. Like I at this point in the game, I think I am up by 1.5 points. At least that's sort of what I thought. And actually, that's the end of the game record. So here we have to now have a conversation about what happens, because I'm too much on Byoyomi. I can't record the game anymore. There are 2 dame points. So we're playing AGA rules, and that's kind of important here. Which means AGA rules means there's a 7.5 point Komi, but you count territory as if you're counting Japanese. But because white has to pass last, and when you pass a stone, or when you pass, you have to give your opponent a point. It's effectively Chinese scoring. So AGA is kind of like Chinese scoring, with the exception of Seki. Sekis get really weird. There's very weird things with Sekis. And a 7.5 Komi. So it's Chinese with 7.5 Komi. That's sort of one way to think about it. The ko threats, I counted the ko threats. I think it's 8 to 11 or 9 to 13. It's something like that, where black actually has more ko threats. So we start to play this ko out, but I'm counting these ko threats. I'm going, oh, I can't win this ko. I can't win this ko. And so I eventually take this dame, right, as a ko threat, so to speak. Black makes a threat somewhere over here, and like we play a bunch of ko threats, and I take this dame. But I can't take this dame, right? I have to take this stone, which means black also gets to have this dame, which then means that black I can play another move or pass, but it doesn't matter. If I pass, I have to give him a point, or I have to fill a point of my own territory in, which I think I actually just pass. So I give him an additional point, and then he gets to take the ko. And so I have to pass again and give him, that last point of the game. And so this turns into, from a 1.5 point lead for white, quote unquote, nominally, to a 0.5 point win for black, which was infuriating and is still infuriating. But man, it's so memorable. And just imagine, right? Again, this turned to a 0.5 point win for black. There's a double sente move here that's obvious to both of us, and neither of us play forever, right? Remember this move I was harping on? Forever? Like here, the 96, 97, 98% move. I just play this. The game is over. I know it's effectively a 2 point move, right? Because I have to play here and here. So instead of losing by a 0.5 point, I win by 1.5 again, right? There's no chance for black. It doesn't matter how many ko threats. Obviously, there's also this throw in here I didn't see that also would have given me enough points to... there's a lot of opportunities, I should say, to guarantee the win for white. But this one just sat on the board for so long and is so obvious to both of us. I felt like in my heart, even though there's mistakes I make afterward, I felt like this is the losing move, right? Just not playing this double sente connection move, and being very greedy about it, just thinking, oh yeah, I can get more there later, somehow. And there's no way to get more there later. I was just hallucinating and feeling assured of myself. And again, I was spending too much time counting. So, oh man, what a head scratcher for the 0.5 point loss. Yeah. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you how do you come back from this? It's just, whew, so brain burning. And, it was a long game, and, my opponent's English wasn't very good, but we had a really nice review, and, I really appreciated his spirit after the game in particular, just because, again, he didn't speak very good English, so I didn't really get to know him as a person. I only got to know him through playing the game. And he was just I found him to be a really nice combination of both wild and also like wanting concrete things, right? Again, so many of his moves were just about, you know, taking this definitive cash, but also just playing a lot of just wild things, having a lot of ambitious things just from that very symmetrical opening, that cross game. You know, playing this move, right, this little foot sweep into my base is to upset it, and just provoke this into some sort of center fight. Yeah. Anyway, I just really appreciated his spirit. It was like one of those games where, you know, you fight to the death and you feel like you got to know someone even if they don't speak your language. So really, really memorable game. This is a game I'm not going to forget for a long time. This double Sente move is so burned into my soul now. I don't have, yeah, it's now just a part of me, right? Like, there are moves you play on the board and there are moves you don't play on the board, and sometimes they get embedded into you for a long time. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Again, come back for Game 6. Game 6 is great too, even though I've been hyping this up as my most memorable game of the Go Congress. We'll do one more video in the series, and then I think I want to do the video of my 9x9 championship game, because I did win the 9x9 tournament, so I want to show you a little bit of that. And I don't do 9x9 stuff on my Go channel very often, so we'll see how you guys like that. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for being part of the community, and go play some awesome Go. Thanks.